All right, so a huge aspect of the job right now, these interviews that are taking place, communication with the front office, right? And I think even though you didn't manage that long ago, Bobby, everybody at home might think that the era that you managed in, communication was different, that on a nightly basis, the lineup was whatever you wanted it to be. Was that the case?
False.
Yeah.
No.
You had other people
I would use 130 lineups a year. You think I could make them all up? No, everyone contributed.
So this isn't just a new thing.
Well, it's probably formally different. I think the structure is a little different. That maybe before it goes to press, more people have to sign off on it. But I mean, in Texas, my general manager and I talked about lineups every day. That's all we ever did is talked about lineup. You know, in New York was the same thing. Heck, Bobby Jones pitched the game, one of the biggest games of my career, because his wife said he was ready to pitch. Are you kidding? Everyone contributed to my lineups. Yeah.
But Bobby, do you feel like that nowadays there's more of a sense that the general manager and the front office is dictating the lineup? Not a discussion, more like our numbers say X, so we want this guy hitting third, this guy, hitting seventh, and these are the reasons why, and please do it.
Well, if that's the way it is, then it doesn't work. I think the places it works, the analytics and the GM will get together and say, hey, we think this is best, and they'll talk with the manager, maybe even the coaching staff also, and they'll agree on it for that night. Why is it so hard to understand, sequencing of players, matching of players, having a guy hit behind a guy who's going to get on if you're going to do something, or how you're not going to... All that stuff goes into the equation, and the more information you get, if you're a manager, you better use it, because that's what power is. Information is power, and if you think I know it all, and there are some of those guys interviewing for jobs out here, and I don't think that they belong in today's world of baseball, I think you have to be cooperative, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be, that communication thing isn't necessarily calling the guy to see how his ankle is, but you're knowing how to text, you're knowing how to group chat, you're knowing how to communicate up and communicate down. And that's a little different today.
What were some of the things that surprised you about the job, or that maybe you didn't realize were going to be an element of the job?
Well, again, I managed without any experience. I was 35 years old. I knew everything and I knew nothing. About 5 years later, I realized everything I didn't know, So I think everything surprises you. And what you try to do as a manager, if you have one rule of thumb, is that you aren't surprised during the game. That's the key, that you have to be prepared for all those things that happen when the guy warms up in the bullpen and he comes up lame in the 8th inning of a big game. You can't be surprised that it happened, but have the answer to who's coming, prepared to how to fix it. Yeah.
I think that encapsulates why, Mickey Callaway struggled with that. Mets fans want Joe Girardi. They don't want that stuff to happen anymore.